Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So I'm actually redoing this video because the original footage got messed up. Well, not the footage but the audio. So here goes take two. I actually got this video idea, or I guess it was a video request from Squid Chris. If you want to follow him on Instagram, I'll link that below. But basically this video is going to be kind of like a parts list and reasons why I chose a specific brand over another. Pretty much my car is full bolt-ons, except for, or with the exception of charge pipes. I don't have charge pipes, but I do have an upgraded intercooler. So like I said, it's full bolt-ons, which for the ST consists of the cold air intake, intercooler upgrade, and a full exhaust downpipe catback. So aside from those, I do also have like small, or I guess minor mods, upgrades, whatever you want to call it. I have rally armor mud flaps, shift cable end bushings, and shift cable bracket bushings. I don't have the actual shifter base bushings, which I do plan on getting those eventually. I mean, they're not expensive at all. You're talking about like, I think they're like 30 bucks, 20 bucks per set. Those are kind of like the minor things. And then I have adjustable short shift arm, and yeah, that's pretty much it. For my intercooler, I have which actually my intercooler and charge pipe, I have the Depot Racing intercooler, the smaller one, the Son of Beast, which is a 3.5 inch intercooler, and the catless downpipe. Why did I go with the Depot brand? So for the intercooler, it was kind of like biggest bang for your buck type of deal. And aside from that, I mean, most of you guys follow Boosquig on Instagram, and I had seen that he had got it, when I was kind of in the market for looking for one. And I had reached out to him and I asked him, oh, what are your thoughts on it? And I mean, he lives in Texas, so it's hotter there than it is here in the summer. And I asked him, I was like, how do you like it? And he was like, oh, actually, that he really enjoyed it, or he really likes it, that he's happy with it. So I was like, well, cool. And aside from that, I mean, it was cheap. It was like $350, something like that. When I do plan on upgrading it though to the Beast intercooler from by Depot as well, or Depot, whatever. I don't know how it's pronounced. But I do plan to get their Beast intercooler, which is 5.5 inches thick. And that's because obviously I plan to go bigger turbo. Why I'd stick with that over going with like CPE or any other, which I was also considering the Altitude Auto Works, because theirs is like basically, it's not that it's so much thick, but it's really tall. It's basically the whole front grille. Like, that's how big it is. So why I'm sticking with Depot is because which I'll try to find the link and have it in the descriptions, but in the Focus ST forum, the focusst.org forum, there's a thread where they talk about the CFM, which is like the flow rating for the intercooler, and like what that specific intercooler, of course, and different brands, and kind of like, and their prices. So it's like you could decide on what you want based off of, or which one you get based off of what you're looking for in the intercooler, as far as like if it's performance, looks, also the price point. And for the price point, which I think it's like half the price of the CPE, which CPE's intercooler, as far as the flow rate, it's the best one you can get as far as big brands go, like the big name brands. But then its price is like, I want to say it's like $700-800 bucks. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I looked up its price. The Depot one, or Depot, whatever, it's half the cost. Or close to half the cost. It's like a couple $100 cheaper, because I believe that one's like $450. So it's $100 more than mine. That one, the flow rate is actually better than the CPE. So not only is the flow rate better, but the price is also better, at least in my opinion. As far as quality goes, people can argue, oh, well, you're also paying for quality and the product, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the quality of my intercooler was more than what I could have, wanted. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't see a problem with it. I haven't had any issues with it. The only thing I will say though is if you're upgrading intercooler without upgrading your charge pipes, you definitely want to buy T-bolt clamps, because the factory clamps are kind of meant more for the factory intercooler, which has like ribbed plastic like end tanks or whatever you want to call it, so it doesn't slip off. Well, mine would slip off anyways because worm clamps suck. But if you keep the stock hose clamps, you're gonna be blowing your charge pipes off all the time. That kept happening to me, so I'd recommend getting T-bolt clamps, which I eventually did, and I haven't had a hose hose pop off since. For the intake, I got the Roush cold air intake with the open lid. So you use the factory box, but you just swap out the lid for their lid. So all it really does is just kind of give you more induction noise. So it's up to you. Like you get more induction noise, but you're also going to be sucking in more of the hot air that gets trapped under the hood. So that's kind of like your own preference. I didn't really have like any real reason to get this specific intake over a different one, other than the fact that my buddy LJ hit me up. Someone hit him up that they were parting out their ST because they were gonna sell it, and he needed a stock intake that he was kind of wanting to trade it for a stock intake. So I went all the way to Alabama to get that and the mud flaps, which again are the Rally Armor mud flaps. I have mine in red. I was actually gonna get red ones, but so it all just kind of worked out in the end. I went all the way to Alabama and got both for, I think it was like $200. It's kind of like, you're like, oh well, you live all the way in Nashville, like why would you go all the way to Alabama just to spend $200? It's like, well, the intake itself was $300 brand new, and it was kind of a steal, like for me at least I see it that way. It was like a really good deal. How was I gonna pass that off? It wasn't a big deal that it's used, which actually, by the way, my downpipe I got from a guy locally, and I don't really care as far as like the brand for like pipes, because in all honesty, I don't think that there's gonna be any real difference, any real gains between getting a charge pipe from one, not a charge pipe, a downpipe from one brand versus the other, because in the end it's just a pipe, it's just a piece of metal. Like it's no real, I don't know, no real big differences other than maybe quality, other than that. But like I said, with the Depot Racing, I'm more than happy with the quality of their work. Back to the intake, I got it just because it was all like, it was a pretty good deal. I would have been dumb to pass it up. Now on to the exhaust. My exhaust is the agency power triple tip exhaust, and at least my reasoning for getting that one over like MBRP or like Cobb or any of the others was, to me they all kind of sounded the same, with like the same as each other, and I just really liked, for one, the look of the triple tip exhaust, and two, I really liked the sound. Which, funny enough, I had my friend Arnold weld me a pipe and flange to eliminate the resonator that comes with the agency power exhaust. So I'm actually running full straight pipe right now, but I'm actually gonna get that changed, but I'll leave that for another occasion. So right now I have the agency power exhaust. I love it. It's great, looks great, and that's really it. There's no other big reasons why you should get that over another. It's all kind of personal preference. I think the only one item in my car that is kind of like one of those things where it's better compared to the rest is the shift cable and bushings. Yeah, that. So those, I used to have a different brand, which obviously I have 2 videos on, installing, I think, both the 2 types that I've had. So one is made out of urethane, and the ones I'm currently using are made out of aluminum. So the aluminum ones are way better than the urethane ones. Why? Because it completely eliminates, any play that you have from, the urethane ones. But you do have to reuse this like little green plastic that's inside that obviously like slips onto the ball joint so it can pivot. And I definitely recommend you grease that, because if you don't grease it, it's gonna have a lot of friction, and it's just gonna mean, more effort to shift into gear. Also, it's not just gonna pop back into neutral on its own, or not as easily. Like you you'll be able to pull it back, but it's not just gonna go to the center. It's gonna kind of stay off to the side. Like I said, I had also the shift cable bracket bushings. Those also kind of eliminate any give that the bracket itself has when the cables are actually moving, like pulling back and forth. Definitely recommend those. I don't have the actual shifter base bushings, but those will come as well. Most different brands that offer those all make them out of aluminum. So at this point, or at that point, I guess, whenever you're in the process of buying and deciding which ones you want, I would say just get the ones that are on sale, because there's not going to be any real difference. Maybe just the fit, but I haven't had any other brand to say that, oh, this brand was the exact fit and this other brand wasn't. I have the boosted designs, I want to say, yeah, boosted designs shifter or shift cable bracket bushings. I got those just because like they were on sale and they were like purple, and I like purple, and it was just a nice color. For the adjustable shift arm, I have the Breed, I don't know how it's pronounced, B-R-E-E-D-T. I have their arm just simply because it had the shortest or the most reduction out of the others. See, it's kind of like a give and take with them, because their arm's just like really light, and it doesn't really have any weight to, like, I guess, counterbalance like the shifts or the throws. So it requires a little more effort than, say, if you had one that had weights or adjustable weights, because there's different brands. I think like JBR is one. JBR offers an arm where it has multiple little weight discs that you can add to the end, and that kind of counteracts or counterbalances the throws. Damn, my exhaust is popping today. I don't know if I'm describing it right, but once you look it up and you see it, you'll know. So those don't have as much of a reduction, I believe, as the one I got, but it has those weights. So it's gonna be kind of like, what do you prefer? I definitely recommend reading reviews, looking up reviews, or like looking on the forum and seeing what people think and what kind of falls more in line with what you want out of your car, or out of the product, I guess. Now that I'm talking about like what I have under the hood, I completely forgot to mention I do also have a sound composer delete. With those as well, it's gonna kind of be like what your brand preference is. There's not gonna be one that's better than the other, I don't think. I want to say the JBR one as well. For that one, it's all black. There's no big like difference between most of them. They're all designed the same. They all come with the same stuff. So buy what you want, I guess. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's a quick clip of some of the parts on my car now and what it looks like under the hood for the time being. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.